Welcome back. Week 2, Friday Night Lines, college football, NFL. We got the full slate this weekend. I'm your boy, DJ Primo, co-host of the Loaded Box podcast. You can find me on Twitter at LoadedBoxDJ, as you can see in the bottom corner here. Follow me. I give out all my bets Saturdays, get them all on Sundays. I'm only going to give you 5 on Saturday and Sunday because it's a special show. I'll give out all my plays on Saturday pregame for the day, which will be like 20 usually. Then I'll give out all my plays, which since it's Sunday, first week of the NFL season, I'll probably play every game. So 32 teams, I'll probably play 16 games, 15 now that the Bucks end. And the Cowboys played last night. Hit that game last night. If you listen to the episode of Loaded Box, I'm sweating right now. I'm sweating Boise State minus 25. They're only in the first half. I love late night college football. It's one of my favorite things. I love the late night chase. Boise State minus 25 is 31-13 right now. I'm sweating that. It's the best time of the year. Football is officially back. I say it like, I don't know, every weekend for the last 4 weekends. Football is officially fucking back. We've got a full slate of college football Saturday. We've got a full slate of college football Sunday. I won't leave my couch. I won't talk to my son. I won't talk to my wife. I won't even give my dog any attention. It's college football gambling time. It's what we do. I have 5 picks of college football and 5 picks of the NFL. We've got through week 1 of college football. My theme for college football this week is do not overreact. So much so that I'm going the opposite way. I'm going to unoverreact and bet on the teams that people are overreacting to. I love my college football picks this week. Last week, I went 3-2. I will keep running total so you all can keep track of how good, how bad I'm doing. You know what? We're all just here to have fun. You have a bad week, you gamble through it. Hashtag gamble through it. One of my favorite quotes of all time. You have a bad week, you gamble through it, you keep moving. But let's just keep going. Let's start with college football here. Late night on this beautiful Friday night. If you're sleeping, you're not doing Friday nights of college football, right? Like, how can you sleep? How can you sleep with the full slate of college football and NFL back to back? I can't sleep. I'm not gonna be sleeping until at least 2 o'clock. It'll take a few beers. Cheers, by the way. It'll take a few beers to get me to bed yet tonight. So let's start off with my number 1 bet for college football this weekend. We've got Oregon plus 14 at Ohio State. Like I said, my theme of this week, and I probably have a theme every week, but my theme of the week is do not overreact to week 1. That's what I'm doing here. Oregon plus 14 at Ohio State. Everybody's like, oh, Ohio State, they look great. They beat Minnesota. Oregon played a little bit closer with Fresno. Well, hold up a second. Fresno State is a really good football team. A really good team with a good really good starting quarterback, blanking on his name, Rainer, or something like that. It's a good football team. They're just flat out a good football team. They went in there, they beat them in week 1. Oregon is a legit team. We watched CJ Stroud and Ohio State. CJ Stroud struggled, especially in the first half versus Minnesota. All these Ohio State fans, they're going to be clamoring for yours come this week. I honestly believe that Oregon's defense is going to get to them. They are better than Minnesota. How are they going to handle? How is CJ Stroud going to handle this Oregon defense if he struggled against Minnesota, especially in that first half? I think he's going to have lots of issues. Thibodeau is going to go crazy. You know, Ohio State beat Minnesota by 14 last week. You're giving me 14. I thought it was 14 and a half. I have 14 written down. I thought it was 14 and a half. If you're getting me 14 and a half with a better team in Oregon, I'm smashing Oregon. Plus, I actually think Oregon goes in and they win this game. Or Ohio State's defense is good. They're talented on offense, but so is Oregon. And I think CJ Stroud is the issue for Ohio State. Once they lose this game, Ohio State fans are going to be going crazy, calling for CJ Stroud's head, get Ewers in the game. He's making millions of dollars. That pressure of having $1 million man behind you in college football, that's a lot of pressure. Let's move on to game number 2. Again, do not overreact. Game number 2. Theme of the day. Do not overreact to week 1. Iowa State minus 4.5 versus Iowa. Everybody and their mom's going to be on Iowa after they beat a fluky Indiana team. I like to call him Penix. I think it's Penix, Michael Penix Jr. I call him Penix because it's more fun to say. And it's close to penis. But he's bad. They're bad. He wasn't healthy. Indiana was the biggest fluky of a team. They look good in a COVID year. Do not rely on that Indiana game to give you a real outlook of Iowa. Yeah, they went in there and beat a really bad football team. I think most people that pay attention to college football knew Indiana was a bad football team. I bet Iowa in that game because I knew they were a bad football game, and I didn't have to worry the entire time. Iowa State likes to play slow. They went up against the Northern Iowa team that they don't have to play. This Northern Iowa team returns all their starters from a decent year last year, but Iowa State plays close. They play tight games. They play slow. They ran like 60 plays or something like that. It was unbelievable, their pace. They're going to do both these teams in Iowa and Iowa State are going to do this. It's going to be a low scoring game. You could probably bet the under and be comfortable with it, similar to Penn State and Wisconsin, which I was at last week. That was a fun game to watch. Iowa State minus 4.5. They're going to win this game. It's a rat line because everybody's going to be like, what? Why is Iowa dogged by 4.5 against Iowa State that barely beat Northern Iowa? Because Iowa State's not that bad. Brock Purdy is an experienced quarterback. He controls the ball. He's not going to throw 2 pick sixes, I think Penix threw like that. He's going to control the ball. He knows how to run. He knows how to take an offense and run it. And he still has, plenty of season to break out and go crazy. Iowa State will win this game. They're going to win this game. They're going to cover that 4.5 because it's a radish line. Take the 4.5 and run. It's good. Iowa State is a winner. Game number 3, Texas A&M minus 17.5. Again, don't overreact to week 1. Texas A&M started off the first 3 quarters against some shitty, I can't remember who they were playing. Just a shitty football team last week. And then they kind of took off and they ended up covering the spread, if I remember correctly, because I did bet Texas A&M last week. They ended up covering. People are just going to remember that first 3 quarters. Texas A&M is a good football team. Their freshman quarterback. That first game for a freshman quarterback with a team that's, I think, ranked number 6, that's tough. That's a lot of pressure. They're going up against a bad Colorado team, minus 17 points. He's into a second game. Now he's getting more comfortable. Obviously, the team around him is very good. Texas A&M should go into Colorado, win that pretty handily. My favorite game of the week, number 4, UNC minus 26 versus Georgia State. Sam Howell, albeit people think he didn't have a great game. If you watch that game, wide receivers weren't getting open. I gave this game out last week. Offensive linemen, who they returned all 5 starters, I believe, last year. It's like they've regressed. They were terrible. They were getting murdered the entire game by Vautech. That state, they just couldn't overcome the stadium. I think they played it 5-6 weeks later. It would be a different scenario. There would be more scoring. The wide receivers would figure it out a little bit. Sam Howell will end up still being the best quarterback and the top 3 pick in the NFL this year. They are going to do things to this Georgia State team that we shouldn't even be allowed. It's illegal. It's like it should be banned from watching because of the things they're going to do. You should have to cover your eyes. It's rated R. It's rated X. You should not watch what UNC is going to do to this Georgia State team because it's not going to be nice after that loss to Vautech. They are taking it all out on Georgia State, and it's not even their fault. They're just getting the brunt of it. Game number 5. This is my ultimate do not overreact to week 1. I am taking, this is weird, this game spread, it's rad again. Washington plus 6.5 at Michigan. Washington loses to an FCS Big Sky team who covered the spread. They lose 10-7 straight up. They just couldn't score. They kind of dominated the game, but they just couldn't finish their drives. Whereas Michigan plays a shitty, I think, was it a Western Michigan team? Whoever they played, I think it was Western Michigan or something like that. Really bad. Like another breed of bad. And all these Michigan fans are all excited because they dominated. No, that team's really bad. The fact that they gave up, I believe, 14 points to them is sad. Washington is a better team than what they showed. Again, I kind of want to money line this game. They cover the 6.5. They potentially beat Michigan in Michigan. And everybody in Michigan wants to fire John Harbaugh. He may be gone after this game. I think I'm going to go 5-0 this week. I went 3-2 last week. You're kind of guessing, you're hoping from what you saw in a COVID year. I think 3-2 off a COVID year. I really do regret that Miami pick in Alabama. 5 minutes in the game, I knew it was over. It was done. So Derek King wasn't fully healthy. It just, Alabama is Alabama. Bryce Young had all day back there. He'd step back, he'd roll out, he'd pick them apart. I shut the game off after the first half. It wasn't worth watching. I had to focus on other games to bet on. When you're getting beat in a game that you bet on so bad, you don't even watch that game. You focus on the other game. So you change the channel. You don't watch it. I don't have much analysis on that game except for Alabama beat the fucking shit out of them. All right, Alabama's still good, but here we go. We are into the NFL picks. My favorite sport. Obviously, I love college football. I love NFL. This is the one I watch the more. This is the one I pay the most attention to. But either way, I'm going to give you winners here. When you're picking against the spread here, week one in the NFL, you're going off of what you think you know, or what you think a team is bringing into the season, off of what off-season moves they've made, what free agent picks they've done, or free agent acquisitions they made, and what rookie draft picks they've had. So it's a shot in the dark. I think I'm going to do well, but it's a shot in the dark. I think you don't really figure out the NFL until about week 3, week 4, when you start to get a real good picture of who the teams are going to be. So let's start out with game number 1. Again, all my games are strawing on the bottom so that you can take them, write them down, tail them or fade them. You should probably tail them because you would have won last week. And I'm about to give you more winners again with 5 more games in NFL. Chargers at Washington FC, the football club, the football team. I like to call them Washington FC. Justin Herbert, that offensive line, massively improved. Week 1, everybody's hyped. I don't care that they're flying west to east. You're giving me a pick 'em in the LA Chargers with a massively improved offensive line. Keenan Allen, a good defense with guys like Derwin James back and Joey Bosa out there just kicking ass. And then Justin Herbert having all day with Mike Williams, who everybody's projecting to blow up. You give me a pick 'em. I'm taking Chargers to beat a lackluster. Let's get excited about Washington. They have a decent defense, but I'm still not going to buy into that offense because they play in the NFC East Washington Football Club. Chargers, take the Chargers in the pickup. Be happy with it. Take that win. The West to East Coast does not matter in week 1. Don't even worry about it. They've been there for a couple days anyways. Game number 2 that I'm going to give you is my favorite game of the week. And it's not even close. It's a lot. 49ers going into Detroit, -7.5. Jared Goff, very bad at quarterback. The Lions, very bad at football. Who's he going to throw it to? TJ Hawkinson? How's he going to find time to get rid of the ball? The offensive line can't block. DeAndre Swift is going to have no time to run. He has no wide receiver targets. San Francisco returns a fully healthy defense. Where is Jared Goff going to find time to throw a football on a badly coached team, just a bad team in general, just lacking talent? Defense is very bad. They have no pass rush. They added a cornerback that we saw get murdered last year by Jeffrey Okudah, by Devontae Adams and other wide receivers alike throughout the season. They are weak at everything. There's nothing. If they go into any game, there's not a position that I like them at more than most teams. Like at most, I like either DeAndre Swift in the game, depending on who they're playing in a matchup, or TJ Hawkinson. But like the Lions stink. 7.5. I could see this game being 24-0 at halftime. I don't see the Lions score. I just don't see it. -7.5. That's my lock of the week. Take that in. Make that your biggest bet. I put a whole unit on this, which is the highest amount that I allow. I cap it at 1 unit. So if 1 unit is $100, you bet $100 on it. Obviously, you can put whatever you want on it. But just for perspective, 1 unit is the highest I'm going to go. That's the most confident I may be all year. That's a lock. Game number 3, Broncos Giants over 41.5. That's a low over under. This is a game where I think the Giants defense is overrated. The Broncos defense is good, but with Teddy Bridgewater and all these weapons that we talk about in Cortland Sutton and KJ Hamler and obviously Jerry Jeudy, who's everybody's hyping, I'm a big fan of Javonte Williams. I think Melvin Gordon sucks. You have all these weapons on offense. You better score some damn points if you're John Elway. And the Giants are the same thing, right? They got Daniel Jones. Every Giants fan is hyping this team up. They got Saquon back. They've added Kenny Golladay. They got Evan Ingram, who drops the ball a lot, but is very talented. Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, all these guys that they are considering. Kadarius Toney, that they think is going to score a bunch of points. Well, if you guys both think your offense is going to be better, you better be able to put up a total of more than 41.5 points. That is very low. I better see it over. And if I lose this game, great. I get to make fun of Giants and Broncos fans because they both overhype their offenses as usual, but they're both bad teams, so it doesn't really matter. I think that both of them are going to score some points in this game. Game number 4, I got to give it out every week. Aaron Rodgers is not out for revenge. He's out for a reckoning. He's going out there to win a Super Bowl this year. I know I say it every year, blah, blah, blah. You're sick of hearing it. I don't care. I don't give a F. They're in the NFC Championship the last 2 games. They should have beat Tampa Bay last year because Tom Brady tried to lose. They're going up against Jameis Winston, who has no weapons, no wide receivers, -4. It should be 6, probably 6 points in this game. Packers should win this game in Jacksonville, not even in New Orleans because of hurricanes. Going away with the Saints having to travel around. Tough game for Jameis. He's got his best wide receiver in Callaway, who everybody's hyping up right now, going up against Jair Alexander. Not going to be a good game for Jameis. It's going to be a struggle. Obviously, we struggle with Kamara. He will have a solid game. That's just what happens. Good running backs typically put up big numbers against the Packers, but they'll be able to weather that storm, dominate this game, probably win by double digits. Don't worry, put that game in and then move on from it because it's a win. And lastly, number 5, I've got Bears-Rams under 46, the Sunday Night Football game. I figured, guess what? Even if I don't like this game a lot, I'm going to be betting on it. Boise State's taking it to the house again, 34-13. All right. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Even if I didn't like something in here, I'm going to bet on it, so I might as well give you guys a pick. But I actually do like this play a lot. We got Andy Dalton, who's just not good, shouldn't be starting. I think he'll be benched after week 3, 4, somewhere. Get Justin Fields in the game. But Bears have a solid defense. Yeah, last year they gave up because their offense sucks so bad that, what do you do as a defense besides, okay, what I can't carry the team anymore. And then obviously you've got the Rams, who is the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL, against the Bears defense that's going to struggle. So you have 2 good defenses. Matt Stafford's new to this offense. It will take him 2-3 games before he lights up the league and wins that MVP that I bet the future on, that I gave you guys last week. Under 46, I think, is easy money here. There's not going to be a lot of scoring. It's going to be uneventful for a Sunday night game. It's going to be fun to see Stafford. I wish it was later in the season because I know Stafford will be much more comfortable with the offense 3-4 weeks in, 5-6 weeks in, whatever. And then we would have a Justin Fields potentially playing his ass off. He looks like a really good quarterback. I hate to say that. Game 1, it's going to be a sloppy game. There's going to be a back and forth. It's going to be a field position game. I'm going to predict 38 points in this game. 38 points. Take the under. 5-0 in college. 5-0 in NFL. It's great to be back. Full fucking weekend of football. It's 10:18 Central, 11:18 for you Eastern timers. Not real time. Central time is the best time. Please argue with me on that. Central, there's nothing better than Central time. Everything that is on TV, football, sports, plays at the perfect time here. We get noon football games. I mean, it's great. The timing works out perfect. 7 o'clock Sunday night games, 7:30 Monday night games. I mean, it's like they make the times for the Central. So if you're in Eastern time zone, I know that the most popular thing is to go off Eastern time zone. Eastern time zone sucks. Western time zone sucks. Central is where it's at. Hey, cheers to week 1 of the NFL, week 2 of college football, and the first weekend of a full college football slate. Have a good night.